if you saw my video about the oil pumps yesterday, I might have put some bad info out there. So in the video, I tore everything down, took all of the dimensions, and I said in the video that I couldn't find any difference between the internals of these pumps. And I kind of came to the conclusion that the reason they changed the design was because it was cheaper to produce them in that way. After the video, a couple people reached out to me, including a couple people that I know work on these engines quite a bit, and I've gotten a lot of other information from on this build, and they said that there's a difference in the pressure relief valve that I overlooked. So I took that video down for right now, and I'm heading over here to go check it out tonight and see what the difference is that they're talking about. So I'm going to re-record this video, and I might take some clips from the original video and put at the end of this just for information that I still think is useful. But I just wanted to let you guys know that if you saw that video, that's why it's been taken down and why I'm redoing this one. One thing that I did have in that video that I talked about a little bit that I do want to make sure that I still get out there, I was going to buy a genuine pump from Land Rover for this engine, and Land Rover charges about $750 to $850 for these pumps, and I found a couple that were in the $400 to $500 range that were listed as genuine, and I was getting ready to order one of those, and when I looked at the pictures right before I ordered, I realized they weren't using the 10mm or the 8mm flange bolts to hold the housings together like Land Rover does. The pictures had them using 10mm black oxide bolts, that's how the Chinese ones are held together that are $150 pumps. So it could just be that these people are using the wrong stock photos, but I kind of think it's a little suspicious. I would do your due diligence and reach out, send them an email, call them or something before you guys buy these pumps that are cheaper, that say they're genuine, because I know we've all seen the genuine timing chain kits that are about $150 to $200, even though the ones from Land Rover are upwards of $1,000. This might be the case that they're taking these Chinese pumps, they're slapping a fake Land Rover sticker on it, and they're trying to sell them as genuine. And I don't know why, but Land Rover and Jag really seem to attract scammers that are trying to sell fake OEM or fake genuine parts. So just do your due diligence before you buy one of those, and that's the case with anything on these engines. Anything that somebody is listing as genuine that is significantly cheaper, all of the dealerships are about the same price. If they're significantly cheaper than this other stuff, look into it a little deeper, because there's a lot of, I call them counterfeit parts, because they're not just cheap aftermarket. They're trying to market these things like they're real Land Rover parts for a tenth of what the parts actually cost from Land Rover. So make sure you guys aren't getting scammed on this stuff when you're buying parts, and just kind of check that stuff out before you order it. Okay, so today I've got 3 oil pumps here. I have the new oil pump here that, if you remember when we were talking about this, the output tube is a lot smaller on the newer ones. So here's the original one out of this truck. This is what was used on the 2010 to 2013s. This is what was used on the 2013 and newers. So that's the easy way to tell. And it's pretty obvious that there's a different diameter on the output tubes right here. The pickup tubes are all the same. I've already compared that stuff, so I don't think there was ever any part number change that I could find, so I'm reusing mine once I get it cleaned up. But I'm just kind of comparing here. I don't see anything inside this new pump that is actually different. In fact, I can take the internals from the brand new pump and put in this old housing. So I have this one here. This is the pretty worn housing out of my truck. This is another one out of a 2013 that was in very good shape when it came out that I've got laying here because I was considering using it, but I wanted to compare the new pump. I'm going to take some dimensions here, but at first impression, I don't think there's any difference in these pumps other than this output housing. And the output housing looks identical. Let's look here real quick. Can I take That new output housing matches up identically to the old pump. So some people have talked about this and kind of made me believe that there was some kind of internal difference they made to these, because they talked about these things struggling to make oil pressure on the first few seconds of run time. And as I'm looking at this, I don't see any way that there's a design change that changed that. Well, okay, we'll talk about this when I get the output tubes over here in a little bit. But first I'm gonna go get micrometers out, and I'm just gonna take some dimensions here to see if there's actually anything different about these pumps. Okay guys, I have taken all of these measurements with micrometers so I know they're accurate. I'm just gonna use a caliper here to make this quick and to put it in metric, because all of my micrometers are in inches. All the dimensions on these are identical. So I'm going to stand these up here, get this stuff out of the way real quick. So the outer diameter of this, 61 exactly. This, 61 exactly. Of this, 61 exactly. The diameter of the shaft here, 15 exactly, 14.99. Okay, this is the one that came out of my truck. That was more worn. So 15.0, okay, there it is, 14.98, 15. So with the exception of that dimension on this one that came out of my truck that was fairly worn, all of the dimensions I've found on these are the same. The clearance between the teeth here, here's 4,000. These were all between 4 and 6 thousandths. So there's 4 thousandths. All those are just barely snug. And if I go to 6 thousandths, if I can get my fingers to work right, pretty tight, pretty tight, pretty tight. The internal dimensions, I checked on these housings with a telescoping bore gauge. They're all identical. Everything on the front half of these pumps is identical. So now I'm starting to question whether or not the design change in these was actually anything to do with oil. Here, let me compare these real quick. I'll be right back. All right, guys, here it is. This is the 2013. This is the 2011, and this is the new one. I don't know if you guys can tell in the video here, but these are sprung differently. So there is more tension on the pressure relief valve on the newer oil pumps. So that is the functional difference in the front half of these housings. Everything internally is identical. Now, he did say that on the newer ones, the pump and the shaft are cast as one piece, but if I have it in here, you guys will see that this one is 2 pieces, and I think that was a difference for the just the earlier update on this pump, not the one that has the electronic relief valve on it. So I'll update this. I'll still skim through the videos that I have from yesterday, and anything that is important I'll throw out there. If there's anything that I say that's wrong or anything like that, I'll try to either skip over that or edit it out or something like that. But that's the difference on these pumps. Okay guys, so I talked about this quite a bit yesterday in that video, but I just wanted to be a little more brief on it now that I can see what the difference is on these pumps. So this is the old output tube. You can see this is welded on here. Yesterday I was kind of convinced that that was the reason that they changed this, was because of the cheaper production cost of this tube versus that tube. I still think that's the case, but since I know that there's actually a difference in the front end of these pump housings now, I'm sure that's not the only reason they changed it. This was probably just a convenient change when they made that update. So this is the original pump out of my truck. It came with this output tube. It fits in that larger diameter of the rear housing. And if you guys are going to this new pump, you have to get this other output tube. So I'll throw the part number on here for you, but you can see the different diameter of these two. I checked them yesterday. I think this was 22 millimeters versus 30 millimeters on this one. So if you guys are going to this and you have the old style pump, I've had a couple people that have told me that what they do is they buy this pump, they take the rear housing off of their old pump as long as it's not too worn, and they don't have to upgrade this pipe. These are the same internal dimension. They were both 15 millimeters, I think, internally. This one just has a larger flange that it mounts up to that pump with. I don't see any reason there would be a problem using this output housing on this pump so that you don't have to spend, I think it was like $80 for that output tube. I don't think there's any reason that you need to change that over. And I've had other people that have told me that they've rebuilt them using that with good results, no issues with them. So that's the difference on these. I just didn't want to have the long 10-minute long version of this where I was trying to figure out what the difference was on that video yesterday. All right, guys, here are the two rotors. This is the one that came out of my truck. This was about 160,000 miles, and it had a lot of metal go through the oil in the last couple weeks of it running. You can see it is pretty shiny. There's quite a bit of wear on that. This one is around 80,000 miles, and it was still a healthy engine when it came apart. This is out of a wrecked LR4, so everything on that, it looks, I don't know why the pictures look so bad. There, that angle you can kind of see there's just a little bit of wear around that, and there is a lot of wear on this one. So if you look inside the housing here, on this, all of those whirls are where it was ground. So this is all perfectly flat. When I touch it, I can't feel any ridges here, and you can see all of the original, you would call it cross-hatching if it was in the cylinder. You can see all of the original machine tools where this was polished. On this one, you can see a lot of radial cuts that fit into where this was spinning on the inside of it and wearing into this housing. It's actually pretty, these are a lot easier to see in person, sorry. Maybe on the back housings you can see it a little better. So yeah, you see, especially at the bottom down here, you can see there's more radial wear on this where the rotor was kind of digging into it. And on this one, there is a little bit of radial wear on it, but for the most part, like right here, all this stuff is still, you can see the original finish in it. This is all perfectly flat. I can't feel any nicks or ridges in it when I'm touching it. And on this one, I can. Right here, you can tell that the cuts in it are going the wrong direction. It's kind of against the grain with the original crosshatch that was on it. Well, sorry guys, this kind of turned out to be an underwhelming video. I still think it's good info. For those of you guys that are thinking I'm working in here, I've got to upgrade this to the new pump design. I don't think that is really an important change anymore. I know that you can't get these pumps anymore unless you're buying a used one. So if you are replacing your oil pump, that's what you're going to have. But if you've checked your oil pressure before you took this off here and you guys don't want to change this out, then I don't think you're missing out on anything if you've got a good performing oil pump. The wear on mine, I'm pretty sure, it might be mileage related, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with the metal that went through this oil pump. I think it just ground stuff down. That also, I didn't talk about it, but the shaft, the shaft that goes to the front sprocket, it was a little bit out of round, or not a little bit out of round, but it was a little bit smaller diameter by about a half thou, maybe 3/4 of a thousandth. And the wear pattern on the inside of that shaft, I couldn't get it very good on camera, but it is worn more. So my pump was not in near as good a shape as the lower mileage pump. Other than that, that's all I got for right now, I guess. I do think later this week I'm gonna do a video on the fuel system on this truck, because It's not related to my build on this, but there's a lot of bad info out there about the fuel system on these 5.0 and 3-liter engines. And it's wasted a lot of my time. It's wasted a lot of my money by people that are talking about stuff that they don't understand, and they tell you as though it's fact. So you start chasing problems in your truck that don't exist, and you waste probably a good 15 or 20 hours of your time tearing down the entire timing chain to get down to the fuel pump camshaft. So I'll do a video on that just because I want to put that info out there, and I can show you guys how this works so that hopefully it'll stop a lot of that just echo chamber of bad info for us, so that'll help people out in the future if they're trying to diagnose fuel problems. Thanks, guys.